Hi everyone, so I'm going to read you another extract from another one of David Walliams' books, which is Grandpa's Great Escape. Chapter 10, Facts, Facts, Facts. From the back of the classroom, Jack dived in to defend his grandfather. Miss, it's best you don't keep on interrupting by asking questions. But this is a history lesson. We need facts, 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 replied Miss Verity. Just please let the wing commander finish his story, miss, and we can all get to those later. Oh, very well, muttered the history teacher, grasping her red chalk in readiness. Please carry on, Mr. Bunting. Thank you, madam, said Grandpa. Now, where was I? It was clear the poor old man had lost his thread. It was a good job that his grandson knew his story so well. We had heard this particular tale of daring do hundreds of times, but never tired of it. Jack prompted his grandfather. You saw the first Messerschmitt and gave the order to dive. That's right, man. As soon as my squadron of Spitfires descended through the clouds, we realised that this would be the fight of our lives. Grandpa's eyes lit up. He was back in the moment as if it was yesterday. The radar had estimated 100 planes in total. This looked more like 200. 100 Junkers and as many Messerschmitts. As for us, we just had 27 Spitfires. The children were enraptured. Miss Verity was busy scribbling up her precious facts on the blackboard, like how many aircraft on each side, in an array of multicoloured chalks. As soon as she had finished, she switched back to red chalk for dates only, and opened her mouth as if she were about to speak. But before she could say a word, the entire class went shh. Grandpa was on a roll now. All the children were eating out the palm of his hand. I pressed on my machine guns, and the battle commenced. It was thrilling and terrifying in equal measure. The sky was filled with bullets, smoke, and fire. Bang! I hit my first Messerschmitt. The Luftwaffe pirate floated down on his parachute. Bang! And another. Our mission that day was to take down the Junkers. They were the deadly ones. Each one of those bombers was carrying tons of explosives. If we didn't stop them, their bombs would be raining down on the men, women, and children of London. Up in the skies, the battle raged for what seemed like hours. The RAF must have shot down at least 50 enemy aircraft that day, continued Grandpa. Many of the other Luftwaffe planes were so badly damaged they had to retreat back across the channel, quick smart. My squadron returned to base that day as heroes. All the children in the class burst into wild applause. Hooray! Chapter 11, A Legend. As the applause died down in the classroom, Grandpa began again. But this was no time for celebration. We knew the enemy would be back, and soon. In even greater numbers than before. The Battle of Britain had well and truly begun. And as for my squadron, I lost 4 brave pilots that day. The old man's eyes glistened with tears. The entire class sat in stunned silence. So this was what a history lesson could be. The boy sitting next to Jack turned to him and whispered, Your grandpa is a legend. I know, replied Jack, and smiled. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Bunting, said Miss Verity, loudly, breaking the spell. We are nearing the end of the lesson now, and I have my red chalk poised at the ready. We need to note down all those facts. So please could you tell us all the year this happened? The year? Replied Grandpa. Yes, I need to put it up on the board. If my pupils are to have any hope of passing their exams next term, we need to know the facts, and yet more facts. The old man looked at the teacher confused. It's this year. What do you mean this year? Asked the teacher. This year, madam, 1940. The class chuckled uncertainly. Surely the old man was joking. Jack shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Miss Verity gave everyone another of her famous death stares, and there was silence once more. You seriously think this is 1940? Yes, of course, it's 1940. King George VI is on the throne, and Mr. Churchill is Prime Minister. No, Mr. Bunting, this is 1983. It can't be. Yes. Queen Elizabeth II is on the throne, and the wonderful Mrs. Thatcher is the Prime Minister. Grandpa did not look at all convinced. In fact, he stared at the teacher as if she was bonkers. Mrs.? A lady Prime Minister? You must have a screw loose, madam. I think it is you who has a screw loose, Mr. Bunting. Well, thank you so much for your oh-so-informative visit, said the teacher sarcastically. Now, goodbye, as if shooing a pigeon. Miss Verity ushered the old man out of his chair. Under her breath, she muttered to the class, no need to write down a thing the man said, after all. He doesn't know what year it is, and he's still wearing his slippers. Poor Grandpa stood at the front of the class. He had been soaring in the sky. Now he looked like he had crash-landed on the ground. Jack's heart ached for him. Dring! The bell rang, and not a moment too soon. The boy had never been so relieved that a lesson had ended. Jack pushed past the other children to get out of his classroom and away from his grandfather. It had gone from being the best history lesson ever to the absolute worst. Just as Jack reached Grandpa, Miss Verity called the boy back. Jack, may I have a word, please? A moment, sir, said the boy to his grandpa as he plodded over to his teacher. Promise me you will never bring your grandfather in my classroom again, the lady hissed. I promise, replied Jack, feeling quite angry. There's no way I'm bringing him back here. The boy spun around and reached out for Grandpa's hand. His old skin felt almost like a child's, soft and silky. Come along, Wing Commander. Let's return to base. I don't understand, muttered the old man. Was the briefing not clear? Did I let you down? Seeing his grandfather like this, it was hard not to cry, but Jack was determined to be strong. No, Wing Commander, you didn't let me down. You never have, and you never will. And that's just a couple of chapters from Grandpa's Great Escape. So again, if you would like to read this book in school or at home, you can borrow it from the school library.